Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is an M40 M43. It's the Tier 8 American SPG, and we're located on the South Assault spawn of Karelia. And the name of the commander is Goliath Killer 1. Now this is actually an M43 because I can tell that it's got an 8-inch barrel there. If it was the 155mm gun, the barrel would extend over the front of the vehicle. Right, what can I tell you about this SPG? Well, it was based on the chassis of the M4A3, so it's basically a Sherman, a converted Sherman. And originally they were built with the 155mm gun, and one of them saw service during the Second World War, and also one with the 8-inch barrel, which later became the M43. Now 311 M40s were produced, and 24 of these were later converted into M43s by fitting the 8-inch howitzer on top, and it's basically the same vehicle just with a different gun. Okay, he's gone straight into the aim, and this is an assault, so it's 10 minutes. He's got a fairly wide arc of fire. You can see there the gun can sort of like aim over a marginally wide range without actually having to turn the vehicle at all. But he's looking for some of the defenders, and only one of them has been spotted so far, and that's in the south, the Object 430. He can't see the Scorpion G or the Object 705. Now one enemy has crashed, and that's a Wizzy 132. Obviously he's probably fallen over or went into a rock and died. But there's a T95, and we're dialing in on him. We've marked him as our target. Almost ready. Round out.
Critical hit.
That was a good shot. 357 hit points of damage. And he's picked up some stun assist straight away. That's good work. And he's relocating, which is always good practice in a large Arty, because the enemy might try to counter battery you if they can work out where you are. So it's wise to move away to a new firing position after each shot, because that way the enemy has no way of knowing exactly where you are, and if they do fire at where the tracer came from, they're not going to get you because you're no longer there. Okay, he's got 3 enemy targets together. Round out. This should be a good shot. It is!
That was close.
He's hit 3 tanks there. Did damage to all 3 of them. He did 249 to the MX50-100, 182 to the T110E4, and 265 to the Object 416 as well. And stunned all of them. We did lose our Object 704, but that's because he went into a situation where he was outmatched by 3 enemy tanks at once. And you don't really want to put yourself in a position where you've got 3 people facing you. The 704... sent a very nasty message to, I think, one of his colleagues in the Carnarvon for running away. And I can understand that, because effectively he was alone facing 3 tanks, and there's just no way that he was going to be able to do anything about that. Oh, that's an ammo rack. The Carnarvon went down just like that. We fire a round in, and yep, that was a good one. 330 hit points to the AMX50-100, and Goliath Killer's moving up. He doesn't really want to be around the back of that, near the horseshoe. In fact, the SD1's coming back because I think he realises there's going to be enemy tanks in our rear. They're already probably at the spawn point, number 1. And those tanks up on the horseshoe, if they don't get out of there quick, they're going to find somebody directly behind them shooting at them. Now, Goliath Killer's turned around, and he's aiming towards the back, but he's seen the T95, the one that he fired at originally. And there's also a Scorpion G. He's dialing in on Scorpion G. And can he get a shot in? Round out straight away. And yes! That's his first kill. That's a good kill. And that's Zed's Dead, baby. What a name. Zed's Dead, baby. That's from Pulp Fiction. He got 103 hit points off that Scorpion G, but he took out that tank destroyer. Now, There's another Scorpion G over on the far side, and he's hiding behind that rock. And of course, that's a terrible position, because at this moment, he is going to be very, very susceptible to an 8-inch shell. He's got a very light skin on his vehicle. It's basically a Panther chassis with a very big gun on it, and it's about to get absolutely minced by an 8-inch shell. Yep, it's destroyed. 778 hit points. Just goes what I said, you know, 8-inch shell meets Panther chassis, and bye-bye Panther. Well, in fact, this case it was the Scorpion, and that is a very important kill, because that tank can do 500 hit points of damage per shot. And now he's out of the game. That's really going to wreck the chances of the enemy being able to stop this team from going for the cap. Now, they're one tank up at the moment. There are enemy tanks in the rear. The ST-1 is actually trying to fend off that AMX 50-100. And there's an Object 416 down there as well. In fact, it's been joined by an Object 430. Now, the bad news for the enemy here is they've concentrated their forces rather, on attacking the guys in our rear. And they're not paying attention to the force that's up front attacking their cap area. And that's the most important area. Round ends Centurion, and it's a good hit. 394, one critical hit. That brings up 2.6k of damage so far by Goliath Killer. Not to mention the 300 stun damage he did. And you see, he keeps moving up to get close to the enemy. And there's more stun assistance there on the Centurion. And that Centurion's been wiped out by our SU-101. Now, this is putting the enemy, a lot of pressure on the enemy now, because they've got a T-92 HMC in their rear, but the Progetto's going after him. Their Carnarvon is now facing 3 enemy tanks. We found one of their Artys in the rear. It's the M40, M43 of the enemy team, and he's being taken out by the Progetto. He's gone. There's the T-92 HMC. We're dialing in on him. Got a red line there because of the rock face, but he's targeting it. Oh, he doesn't need to shoot because it's been killed. We've got a Canonian Jagdpanzer coming up from the south. And in fact, actually, things are looking very bright for us now. The enemy's down to just 4 tanks, 2 of which are in the rear. That means only 2 are up front, and this is one of them. The T-110E4 rounds out. A good shot! Massive shot! 321 and some stun assists directly afterwards. That T-110E4 is in a world of hurt now. He's stunned. He did manage to get a shot off, but he's going to get an RT round again in any second, and we've got control of their cap area. If he goes down, then basically their forces are all in the wrong place. And Goliath Killer's done a lot of this by helping to destroy the defenders. They've only got 2 now, the Object 430 and the FV215B183, the Death Star. And they're right down the south. He's right up in the north, so he's fairly safe from where he is at the moment. He's got a Tortoise defending him. And they basically got the cap area with 2 minutes 20 seconds to go. So if they all jump into the cap right now, it puts pressure on the enemy to get back as quickly as they can. And I doubt they'll be able to do it. Yep, because we'll be able to cap out before they can get in to stop. And there's the Object 430. And Goliath Killer can now go to town on these attackers. And we fires a round in. I don't think he got anything off that one. No, I don't think he did. Unfortunately, only one of our tanks has stayed in the cap area. That's the SU-101. I think Goliath Killer's quite happy in this position because he has got the Tortoise to defend himself. The Object 430 is obviously somewhere in the centre. We don't know where the Death Star's gone, but I think he's gone further west and he's trying to come back to the cap through the other route. They've got 1 minute 28 seconds to go. This looks like it's going to be a fairly easy win. Although they have only got a few seconds difference on the capture, on the capping at the moment. One of them ought to get into the cap to speed that up a bit. Yeah, there's the Object 430. And he's been wiped out. That really puts the pressure on them. Oh, we lost the capper. It was the SU-101. So they've really got to find the Death Star. And the 252 and the FV4005 ought to get into the cap quickly. Because if they don't, this could end up as a draw. In fact, the Progetto is saying now cap FFS. I know what that means. For F's sake. Cap for F's sake. Well, it looks like they've screwed up here because there's only 32 seconds left on the clock. Nobody's, well, one of them's capping, but it's not enough because they can't cap out in time. And if they can't find the Death Star, here's the Death Star. Line up shot, rad out. It's a hit, 844. He gets massively hit from the other side. Oh, they got him with 15 seconds to spare. That was lucky. That was very, very lucky. And it was a good shot there by Goliath Killer to get the initial hit in. It stunned him, held him in place. And then the Canonian Jagdpanzer and the ship barn did the rest to finish him off. Wow, let's have a look at the end of battle stats. It's an ace tanker for Goliath Killer 1 in the M40, M43. He also picked up a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 13. And a Gore's medal for doing more damage than hit points of his own vehicle. 10 times the hit points of his own vehicle in that battle. So let's have a look at the team scores, see where he stood. Well, if we look at the team scores, we can see that he got the highest damage, but for some reason he didn't pick up the high caliber. He got 3,525 hit points of damage. The next highest scorer was actually the T92 HMC on the enemy team, 3,484 to them. And then we've got the Progetto, who managed 3,249. When it came to kills, it was the Canonian Jagdpanzer and the Object 430 on each respective teams. The 430 managed 4 kills, the Canonian Jagdpanzer managed 3. Now, I know that a lot of Unicums have said this is a terrible tank, but it's actually quite good. It's not that bad, actually. The fact that this guy got 3 kills just goes to show that it's actually quite good in the hands of the right people. Maybe those Unicums aren't good enough to handle this sort of tank. But then we've got Goliath Killer with 2 kills and the T110E4 on the enemy team with 2, the T92 HMC and the FV4005 with 2 as well. And when it came to base XP, again, it's the Canonian Jagdpanzer who's top of the table, 1374. Then came Goliath Killer with 1244. And then we've got the Progetto with 1071. So let's have a look at detail report. Well, Goliath Killer only fired 9 rounds. It's such a long reload on the M40, M43. He got 4 direct hits, 4 penetration and 9 splash. Damage of 3,525 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. He hit 9 of the enemy, but only killed 2 of them. And he also did damage assistance of 276 hit points and stun assistance of 1,956 hit points off 11 stuns, and that's where he managed to get the ace tank, because it's not only the 3,500 actual damage, but also the fact that he assisted to others to enable them to get damage as well, and that obviously earns him some XP from that. On a premium account, he earned 56,837 credits, and after ammunition reload, remember, these shells are expensive. So after his ammunition reload, he still took away 40,007 credits. He picked up 1,866 XP times 2 for the first victory of the day, took away 3,732 altogether. So a really solid round there by Goliath Killer 1. It really did help at the end, because if he hadn't actually hit that that Death Star when he did, to actually fix it in place, there was an honest chance that Death Star might have survived for another 15 seconds. And if that was the case, that Death Star probably would have ended up with a collar ban off, and they would have lost the game. But he got that hit in, he stripped half the hit points away, and then allowed the others to do the rest and finish him off. So a really good round. Thanks very much for sending in this replay, Goliath Killer 1. If you enjoyed this replay, please give it a like and do subscribe to our channel, and hopefully it'll be your replay that I'll be featuring in the next video.